They say every forest has a heart, but this one had a hunger. A hunger that did not crave flesh or blood, but something far more precious names. I learned this on the night my brother forgot who he was. It started when we returned to our village after 10 years away. The road was narrower than I remembered, and the trees leaned inward as if listening. Locals called it the Murmuring Wood, a place avoided after sunset, but we laughed it off. Legends rot when people stop believing in them, or so we thought. The villagers did not laugh when they saw us. Their smiles were stiff, their eyes lingering on the forest behind us. An old woman grabbed my wrist and whispered, "Do not speak your name near the trees." Before I could ask why, she shut her door like she'd seen a ghost. That night, the forest began to whisper. Not words at first, just sounds, breathing leaves, cracking branches, a rhythm like a distant chant. My brother sat up in bed, staring into the dark, his lips moving silently. I asked him what was wrong. He looked at me with confusion and said, "Do I know you?" I laughed until I saw the fear in his eyes. By morning, he couldn't remember his name, not mine either. He remembered everything else, our childhood, our parents, even the route back to the city, but names had vanished, scraped clean from his mind. When I said his name out loud, the wind howled outside, and the forest shuddered. That was when I noticed the mark on his neck. It looked like a burned symbol, a circle split by a crooked line, as if something had been crossed out. The same symbol was carved into trees at the forest edge, fresh, bleeding sap. We went to the village elder, a man older than the road itself. He listened silently, then lit a candle and spoke in a voice that trembled like dry leaves. The forest feeds on names. Speak yours within its reach, and it listens. Speak it again, and it takes it. I asked him why names mattered. He leaned closer and said, "Because a name anchors the soul. Without it, you belong to the forest." At dusk, the trees began calling again. This time, they used voices I recognized, my mother's, my father's, even my own. Each whisper spoke my name softly, lovingly, like a promise. My brother walked toward the sound, smiling like a child. I grabbed his arm, but the ground beneath us shifted. Roots rose like fingers, wrapping around his legs, pulling him forward. He screamed not my name, but a question, "Who am I?" Over and over until the forest answered. The answer was silence. I followed him into the woods because fear is weaker than guilt. The deeper I went, the darker it became, as if the night thickened around me. Faces appeared in the bark of trees, mouths open mid-scream, eyes hollow and familiar. I recognized villagers who had died years ago. Some wore my face. At the center of the forest stood a tree larger than the rest, its trunk covered in thousands of carved names. Some were scratched out violently, others glowed faintly, pulsing like veins. My brother stood before it, his mark burning bright. A voice rose from the tree, ancient and layered, as if spoken by many throats at once. "Give us your name, and he may leave." I understood then. This was not a curse, it was a bargain. I shouted my name in defiance. The forest shook, branches snapping, the glowing names screaming as they faded. Pain ripped through my chest as something was torn away, something I had carried since birth. The world blurred, the voice sighed in satisfaction. When I woke, I was outside the forest, alone. The villagers found me at dawn. They asked for my name, gently, cautiously. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Not because I refused, but because there was nothing there to say. My brother never returned. Now I live without a name. People avoid me. Mirrors feel wrong. Sometimes, when the wind is right, the forest whispers something familiar, something that aches like a half-remembered dream. If you ever walk near a forest that listens too closely, remember this. Do not speak your name aloud, because once the trees learn it, they will never forget you, even after the world does. And the forest is still hungry.